Welcome back to the course on effective leadership. I'm going to get into the topic of management concepts for leaders today so that they can manage their teams. It will cover the PDCA cycle and functions in management. Cool? Hit thumbs up if you want more content related to leadership. Make sure you have subscribed to the channel too. Hello there everyone! The PDCA cycle is a management model that aims to improve processes continuously. You can apply it to the most diverse situations and also repeatedly, and even take advantage of a specific part to your will. The PDCA cycle consists of 4 parts: plan, do, check, and act. Created by Dr. Deming, an American engineer and statistician. He is considered the father of modern quality control, and his theories substantiated the ISO 9001 a lot. Through the PDCA cycle, people and organizations are able to create standard stages of their projects, adapt them to the reality, execute them, and improve results for the next version or cycle. Understanding the PDCA cycle. The PDCA cycle is one of the management concepts for leaders that is especially useful because it helps to structure a basis of continuous improvement processes. This is the technique or thought of constantly revisiting processes and improving based on learning, where many companies fail. It is very common to only think about improving first when the process is run again after a short period of time, since changes are easier to implement, or second, when the pain of the error was very traumatic. Now, for those little pains that are easy to get used to, the PDCA cycle is incredibly powerful. And it's those pains accumulated that start to cause stress in the team, and that will be raised when you are in a tense confrontation process. It is also very useful for conducting small, controlled improvement cycles to avoid wasting time on large-scale projects that can go wrong. And of course, the good thing is that you can apply it in any kind of business or project. The only downside to running a PDCA cycle is that you will have to follow the process. Although you can adapt it to your reality, skipping a step or doing it when only you want to will take much of the benefit from it. Realizing the need and implementing the improvements. And for you to be able to execute it, the whole team has to collaborate. There is no way for you as a leader to do it yourself, and there is no way for members to do it without the support of leadership. Applying the PDCA cycle in practice. We will now go through the 4 parts of the PDCA cycle in practice for leaders. The first step is to plan. During this stage, we map what we are trying to solve or achieve or change with the process. You must identify and analyze the problem or opportunity for change. Develop hypotheses and what are the causes of the problem, which then decide which hypothesis to test first. This term hypothesis has been used a lot nowadays to describe idea of things that can work and the intended result. Then you can validate this hypothesis. Did the expected effect really happen? You may ask yourself the following questions. What is the central problem you are trying to solve? Should this really be the focus and priority at the moment? What information do we still need in order to fully understand the problem and its root cause? Is it possible to solve it? What are the possible solutions? How will we know if it has been solved or not? That is, what are the success metrics? What resources do we need? What do we have? It is essential at this stage that you have a balance of allowing the team to participate, but also of not going too much off topic, as brainstormings can take endless hours and get nowhere. Beware of information in excess. Probably the most important thing here is that you define what the success metrics and goals will be. Success metrics are the numbers and factors that you will track during execution. The goal is the value of that metric that you want to achieve. This and only this will define whether your project was a success or not. In this stage 2, we test your hypothesis or we execute the proposed solution. I recommend that you use the PDCA cycle. Focus on incremental changes so that you can execute, validate, and analyze calmly and in short steps, promoting small improvements instead of focusing on the next big thing. This is also great from the leadership point of view, as you promote small gains in sequential ways. Also, if there is any failure, you don't need time to recover and can quickly move on to the next project. The PDCA cycle manuals that explains these management concepts for leaders says that the ideal scenario is that the improvements proposed by your test do not involve a large execution projects, and that you don't need to allocate a lot of personnel efforts so your operations maintains continuity. In this stage of execution, focus on small efforts. Remember Pareto principle? Then, as a third step, we have check, a moment in which we review and analyze the results achieved. It's particularly important because it allows you to see what you wanted to happen, what actually happened, and to review which parts of the plan worked, which didn't work, and what happened that wasn't even met. Yes, there are variables that sometimes we don't count on, but it ends up having a surprising effect. I recommend using the AAR process. This moment is very important because it is the one which will define if the project was a success or not. That is why it was so important to define the success metrics back then. The last step, act, is when we implement your experiment in real life. It becomes part of the real process. While the project carried out on the PDCA is an experiment to test the validity of your hypothesis, after its completion and success, you have to incorporate it into your real process. Now you have to focus on its implementation. What will you need to make it happen? Are there any changes to the tools used? Will training and adaptation of the procedures manual be necessary? Note that your effort here must revolve around ensuring that this short experiment is well incorporated into the day-to-day processes and work. If the experiment goes wrong, you can go back, improve the hypothesis, the plan, the metrics, and run it again. Therefore, I think that in almost all the videos and content on PDCA cycle that I have seen, there is a lot of content specifically about these minor experiences, in which it will be possible to try again. For leaders, the PDCA cycle is crucial for you to be able to plan, coordinate, and control your process, which are the functions of management. As a leader, you'll be expected to